What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Soulblaze back at it again. As you can see, no face cam this time around. You'll see my face cam as I battle, but unfortunately, my recording this time around, guys, I don't know how it happened, but my setting on the microphone muted my microphone. So basically, we're going to do a little quick team recap and team preview of this matchup that we play in the semifinals. So obviously, but once we get in the battle, I will do a post commentary audio track. You'll see my reactions, but obviously I'm going to be post commentating over it, so you guys get some sort of analysis as we're going through. But before we do that, I'm going to go through what we're bringing for the match. I'm gonna try and not spoil it. I'm really bad at spoiling stuff. So obviously, Jade is a very good friend of mine. I've known him for some years now, my friend from down under, and he's a fantastic player. We barely, in the regular season, which is why I have posted up this team right here, we barely managed to squeeze out a win last time. It was like a 2-0 or something like that, 2 or 3-0, something like that. It was down to the wire, and it was a really good, competitive, high-quality match. Unfortunately, that was the first match in the league, and I did not have my recording set up for taking recordings of Switch battles yet. So unfortunately, that one's lost to the history books. It's between me and him. We both know what happened on the battlefield there. There was some cool stuff in that battle. For example, so this is why I have pulled up the team here so you guys can see from the first battle, because this is obviously a rematch. So I'm going to be thinking about what worked in that match and what I'm bringing, because we talked a little about the match, which means that I'm going to have some reflections about what I want to bring for the rematch. So in the first match, he brought a fully physically defensive floor just with Rocky Helmet. It was a big problem because I led Urshifu, and even though I have Iron Head, I do basically nothing to it, and if I don't flinch, it kills me with Moonblast. So even though Urshifu is really nice with Choice Scarf and stuff like that, that might be something to look at for the rematch, just keeping that floor just in mind and bringing more tools for it. Gengar did not get the Nasty Plot in that fight, and that's also something to reconsider. It's basically like I look at the things that worked, and I'm going to try to keep the essence of what worked for the most part, perhaps, maybe. If I feel like it fits me, if I feel like I can pull it off consistently and get that shot to do it again. For example, in this first rematch, we brought Aurora Veil, which worked to great effect. We got 8 beautiful screens of Aurora Veil up, which really helped our Dragon Dance, Dragonite offense in that match. Also, our Nasty Plot Tornado Heatran missed a Hurricane versus Mew and got paralyzed by Thunder Wave, but did amazing damage and nuked a lot of his team. And then it was basically up to Dragonite. Dragonite got to like +3 and Extreme Speed Stomping Tantrum to everything, so that was pretty nice. And that's basically the gist of how that game went. So we talked about it after the match, and he brought the Iron Thorns, which I had Grass Knot for, so that just dropped. Him not thinking that I had any coverage that could one-shot it, and he could either get up rocks or start Dragon Dancing, or I don't remember the set exactly if it was Dragon Dance or Bend or something like that, but he was definitely planning to do some dirty stuff with the rock type coverage that he had for this bird, which would have completely changed the tie, but he did not recognize that knockoff one-shots, like almost like a lot of builds of Iron Thorns, just because it's that heavy. So that was pretty nice. I think that was even before I got up the Nasty Play, if I don't remember. So it kind of sucks missing a Hurricane with Wide Lens, but it is what it is. So that's the essence on the first battle. So I will move on to the rematch and how I'm thinking of reconstructing this team for the battle. First of all, I think I want to bring Brick Break instead of Stomping Tantrum. Don't get me wrong, Stomping Tantrum EQ is not Stomping Tantrum EQ. Stomping Tantrum Extreme Speed is really nice dual coverage for this matchup, I think, just because instead of having to, for example, we can Stomping Tantrum and do a lot of damage onto Iron Thorns, for example. Stomping Tantrum would have been quite effective and kind of dealt with it, but I think Brick Break is going to be better for trying to get stuff like Komala, because I do recognize that his team for this rematch, we're not even bringing the same 6 members. I am putting Fortress on this with Spikes and Stealth Rock, just because either he brings Komala with Rapid Spin, or I just hazard stack the absolute living stuff out of him. Like, we just slobber knocker him with all the hazards, because that's basically all he has for removal, right? So it would be, because defog, no Mew defog, no Landorus defog. I don't think Florges has defog either, so it's just we can hazard stack him or force Komala to come out. Red card is also kind of nice. We have sturdy to live a hit guaranteed. I was originally putting body press on this for the Bisharp. I really think Bisharp is going to come this time around, just because it has Eviolite and it can, like, I don't have much of knockoff if I have to bring Donphan to knock it off. It can punish me with Defiant, for example, for Bleak Windstorm if he predicts that and stuff like that. We're also changing up Gengar from Nasty Plot because it didn't work last time, so I want more things to pressure that Florges. So I'm bringing Sludge Bomb, which also happens to pressure Rillaboom really nicely, and also can deal with non-bulletproof Appleton, I believe, because I do think it gets bulletproof, question mark. I do think that he's brought more Appleton with Thick Fat throughout this season, but still, I think it's going to be nice. We're keeping the same Urshifu. I get that Florges is in the way for it, but it does do a lot of work to his team. If we manage to get Florges out the way, like Scarf Close Combat does a lot to Zamazenta, Scarf Wicked Blow does a lot across his team, which is another reason why I think he's going to bring Bisharp to have another switch into Wicked Blow, because Gyarados with Intimidate, even though Gyarados is a really good bring versus my team, I can bring Thunderbolt for it. I think it's gonna come too, but I think it's less likely than Bisharp, just because I can slap Thunderbolt as coverage on stuff. I have Will-O-Wisp Gengar with Culber for an eventual crunch or stuff like that. It's probably got EQ if anything, or not EQ because he has Grassy's Rain if he brings Rillaboom like he did last time, but stuff like that. We're still gonna bring it just because Wicked Blow puts a lot of pressure, ignores Intimidate drop from Gyarados, just does fantastic damage across this team because most of them are squishy, but it is that Florges exception. Like some of the stuff are kind of bulky, but I have super effective coverage for most of it through U-turn and close combat. But Iron Head is just more for flinching and killing off a very, very low health Florges so that I can come back in later and then click every other move. So Iron Head is more or less just for Florges, or if I really need a flinch for whatever reason. So that's that. We're also bringing a Slowking Galar, but we're bringing a Slowking Galar that's a little bit on the crazy side. A max physical defensive. I'm really scared of his physical offense. We're talking Zamazenta. We're talking maybe Swords Dance Bisharp. We're talking Gyarados with Dragon Dance. We're talking Rillaboom, Bandit, Iron Thorns really hitting heavily on the physical side. We're talking Komala. He has some special threats too, definitely. Mew can also be a physical threat or a special threat. Does have the Iron Moth as a Terra Captain. I forgot to note that down as Terra Captain. It can Terra into either fire or grass. That's a really good special threat. Landorus, although it's more known to be special threat, it could go physical as well. I doubt it. I think it's going to go special if it comes up. It did show up last time, got up rocks and pressured me a lot with Calm Mind and stuff like that, so definitely scary. I do drop completely to an Earth Power, but if I get Trick Room up, it drops completely to an Ice Beam. So it's kind of, we're staring each other down in the face. Trick Room is specifically for these two, more so just this while this is in, to try it, because I hit his team for fantastic amounts of damage. If I just take a hit on the physical side and live with a decent amount of HP and can get Trick Room up, I can be the fastest thing on the field. I have +2 in special attack for my special moves, so like Ice Beam kills stuff, Flamethrower does a lot of damage and can burn, Sludge Bomb just pressures his team really good. So there's a lot of potential there. It's just more for like a wall breaking situation. I can also just click moves without setting up Trick Room or relying on weakness policy, just coming in and out with region and trying to wall break that way. So that's at least the idea. I don't really know how well this is going to work, but hey, it's semifinals. I'm trying to bring some crispy sets, you know what I'm saying? So we'll definitely see how that goes. Probably not going to end up leading with this, I think. So we'll totally see how that goes. We're bringing still Nasty Plot, Tornadus, Therian, but I've changed up its moveset a little bit. Focus Blast instead of Grass Knot. With me showing Grass Knot last time, I do think it's a little bit less likely it will come or stand in front of Tornadus Therian without Dragon Dance boosts. So we're bringing Focus Blast, which is still good coverage for it after a +2. And it also just is better coverage for other stuff, just like, for example, Bisharp and Komala and the Zamazenta and if I don't want to risk it, Air Slash is also nice. I recognized last time I used Hurricane, which did do a lot of damage when it hit, but Tornadus Therian, without anything being scarfed, I am faster than everything except for one Pokemon in particular. So I think Air Slash and getting flinches is going to be a lot better, especially at +2 where we're going to do a lot of bit of damage. Heat Wave is also for the after getting a Nasty Pot. If I click Focus Blast if I have to risk it, or I click Heat Wave if I can afford to, because Heat Wave is still really nice coverage all along. Like I should have more or less really great coverage across this team, so I think we're on the good side. Lumberry is for the either getting like slept by something if I get status, like if I have to stay in, for example, versus if he has any like Yawn, or I don't know if stuff gets Sleep Powder. I don't think it gets Sleep Powder, but Mew can status me like it did last time with Thunder Wave, or it could even Will-O-Wisp me, or it could Toxic me, or stuff like that. I think it can Toxic me. So anyway, we just don't want to get status when we're a setup sweeper, which is also why our Dragonite doesn't have Roost this time, because I did recognize that the fact that I leave myself wide open to getting status or stuff like that. Substitute can also tank a hit for me. It does come at a cost of not having multiscale, but multiscale, if I come in on not rocks, I can at least tank one hit from full HP and then set up sub later, for example, maybe, or I could set up sub and risk my multiscale, but probably better the other way around, and then we just hit everything for as hard as we can and go for broke, kind of. So that's going to be the team for the semifinals of Season 10 of the TAO. I am incredibly honored to come so far in this league, and I have gotten great wins this season against players I did not think I was going to beat, and I'm really happy about my efforts this season, and I'm really thankful that I get to be a part of it still and keeping it alive and keeping it flowing. So thank you so much to Jolt, the entire admin staff, for Jolt for wanting to take the initiation to keep it alive and try Wi-Fi season. We like that. Yeah, so best of luck to my buddy Jade, and I'll see you guys in the battle. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, people. It takes 2 seconds. Pause the video to go check your like, your comment, and your subscribe to right now. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Alright, so this is going to be the battle versus Jade in the semifinals of TAO Season 10 Wi-Fi. So I'm obviously talking a lot here, and I get a kind of feeling that I should have checked my things before I did this, but it is what it is, man. We're just going to go straight into it. I am going to start the battle here in just a second. I'm getting things ready, and we will have game audio for this battle. I'm not going to try and recreate any reaction that I got into the game, but I'm obviously going to get you guys hyped and excited for this battle. Man, it's really going to be a banger. I really liked our battle last time, and I'm excited for what I have to show around this time. So an opposing trainer has been found. Let's get right into it. Battle against Jade is about to start. So we're contemplating a little bit here about what we are going to be using as a lead. I recognize that there are a lot of bad leads for me. I don't want to lead Urshifu like last time, because that just faces I see Florges on the team there, and I'm noting things down. And I know from last time that if I lead Urshifu, is just going to go straight into Florges, or even lead Florges, and that's just going to lose momentum for me. And that's an obvious U-turn, which you can punish with something. So we don't want to do that. They're obviously running Dragonite right away. He has 6 members on his team, most amount of things that can counter it right away. Dragonite might be better to bring in after I've killed something, perhaps, and then try to go for something when there are less counters to it. I also do talk a little bit about Slowking as a lead here, but we obviously mentioned that in the team builder that it's not really that bad since Bisharp is not here, but it still runs the risk of just getting absolutely bamboozled by example Zamazenta and stuff like that. So I want to lead something that can kind of punish the Zamazenta lead a little bit. I do think I managed to calc that Gengar lives a hit from it, if only barely. I'm pretty sure, but I lead Gengar anyway, right? I lead Gengar anyway. So we're getting ready for the battle, and I'm introducing you guys to the stakes of this. At this point in the timeline, I did not recognize the fact that this was going to be semifinals. I just thought it was round 2, so that's kind of exciting. But I do want to run just Gengar real quick just to see if Zamazenta would have one-shot it in that lead circumstance with like Behemoth Bash. Behemoth and Bash has a chance to kill, but it's a low chance to kill. Depends on if he's adamant or not. Sad Lisa hits the field. Shout out if you get that double reference right there. I'm going to lower the audio a little bit here. Yeah, so this is basically Gengar versus Mew in this situation. Obviously, I have my meter checked. Here I am contemplating what to do. I do remember saying to myself, I want to Hex this, but it's not going to kill. And especially if it's a bulky Mew, I could Sludge Bomb as well. But I think I am better in not attacking it straight up and go somewhere else, just because if I don't kill it, it kills me with Stab Psychic. And I need Gengar for a lot of other things in the matchup. So it was either that or I predicted something with Will-O-Wisp. Like he was not going to stay in to Shadow Ball. I don't really remember. So we're just going to have to see together what I did here. Probably should have watched the video. Yeah, so I just predict something with Will-O-Wisp. Figured he's not going to stay in because he sees this as a disadvantageous lead because I have Shadow Ball, and he predicts Shadow Ball here, and it also covers Will-O-Wisp just because of Comatose, which I realize as I'm Will-O-Wisping this. Yeah, so there you can see Will-O-Wisp hitting Comatose. He's considered asleep, so obviously other statuses don't work on him. Great switch by Jade, I say there, and I still agree with that to this point in time. I think that's a great, fantastic switch. We're just going to go into our Golden Kamui just because we don't want him to do a lot of damage to our Gengar or anything for that matter. I predict him to be a physical attacker, so we're just going to go here. We do break our Sturdy, but then at least we can proc our red card and get something out in there. As you can see, he U-turns and would probably have gone into Iron Moth at this point in time, but I do think that the red card saves me here and brings out something else than Iron Moth, which is really good for me. If that brought out Iron Moth, I think that would have been game, but it brings out something else, which means that we can now start a hazard stack. I do recognize that every single one of his team members, except for one, I think is grounded. So that's really good for Spikes, and it forces Kamala to come back in on Spikes. Eventually, if it's not Heavy Duty Boots, to try and Rapid Spin it away again at some point in the game. And I don't think Florges gets a lot to do a lot against me here. It could also fear a Steel move from me, even though I don't pack it. So there's a lot I can do there for sure. Really exciting battle, but I am going to just Spike here just to try and get him up. We really need that consistent damage across his team. Kamala comes back in, obviously predicting me to set up some sort of hazard and going to try for a Rapid Spin Gambit, most likely. So it's kind of in the cards that I'm going to switch to Gengar here, and it could knock off predicting that, but I do have Colbur on my Gengar, as you can see. So I'm just going to go hard Gengar because I want that spin block, and I would rather tank some other move and have Spikes up than not being able to do anything in that situation. We can also threaten it with a Sludge Bomb and or Focus Blast in this position. Yawn does a great play, predicts my Gengar to come in, and now he can Rapid Spin as I swap out if he so chooses. Which is a great play because obviously I'm not going to let my Gengar stay in here and get put to sleep this early in the battle. So I figure I can go into Tornadus Therian here just because I have Lumberry, and if he wants to yawn that too after a Rapid Spin, then I can set up a nasty plot and just go for some big damage. So that's kind of the plan here. I definitely go straight Tornadus here. Does U-turn me, which does do a little bit of damage, but at least Spikes stay up on my side of the field, which I'm really excited about because Spike is going to do a lot of damage. So we like that. Goes back out into Mew and takes the Spike, shows me that it's not Boots. Obviously, this situation was exactly similar to the game last time, although then I was already at +2. But now I'm going to +2 myself to kind of double check that I'm faster than him, while also just making sure that I can proc my Lumberry and kind of go for a Nasty Plot sweep or some Nasty Plot wall breaking. He does set up Stealth Rock, which is very crucial for my multi-scale Dragonite later in the game, so I have to be a little bit careful about that. But that's definitely one hazard on each side of the field there. So I have to be a little bit careful about that. And also, Tornadus does not like coming in on Stealth Rock once more. But I am in a great position. I'm faster. I'm confirmed faster than this Mew. it's not Scarf, and I can just go for Air Slash big damage maybe. I either kill non-bulky Mews, or I can get a flinch and kill bulky Mews too. And I still have my Lumberry, so I just want to go for damage in case he wants to Thunder Wave and waste a turn from getting my berry. Well, it's not a waste, but it does get countered by my item. Go for the Air Slash, and it's not a flinch, so he's going to Volt Switch on me, which does fantastic amounts of damage. Probably a special Mew with 3 other special moves. So Spike is still up on my side, and I am Nasty Potted up, but he can go straight into Zamazenta, which would be faster than me again, and force me out with Behemoth Bash, which I don't really have the greatest switch-ins to in the world. Could also go into something that could potentially force this out if he has something else that wants to come in on this. Does opt to go for the Zamazenta, which is the most likely play because I am confirmed to be probably, since I Nasty Potted and used Air Slash, I'm not Scarfed. So goes right there. I opt to switch out, save my Lumberry, save my Tornadus for a later day, so I can maybe set up a Nasty Pot again. I get regen, and I can try and spin away these rocks for my double birds who likes swapping in on non-rocks. So go straight into Golden Kamu. I do recognize there's a threat of Fire Fang, but I do know that I at least live Behemoth Bash. Shows Heavy Slam over Behemoth Bash, which is fair. I don't know how heavy my team is, so he might have calculated that to be a lot better than Behemoth Bash, but we'll see. I now calculate that I can go for Rapid Spin versus his Fire Fang here, but Fire Fang does have a chance to flinch me, so that's kind of the only thing I have to be careful about. I am considering setting up a second layer of Spike too, but it is more valuable for me getting away these rocks. Fire Fang goes off. Does it flinch? No, it does not. So Rapid Spin goes off. I do get the Stealth Rock away from the thing here, which is amazing. So now I got one Spike up on his side, and there's no hazards up for me. I recognize, again, I don't have the best switch-ins. I know he's going to Fire Fang, but like even if I have to take a Fire Fang, I don't want to get burned on most of my things. So I do opt for Fortress to go down here and let go of my spin permanently to try and go something that can punish Zamazenta and do heavy damage, just because I need this thing to be chipped in order to do something effectively. I don't want to go Gengar because there's a fantastic chance I just die. And I could go Urshifu Scarf there, but I do think Florges would come straight out as well. And I don't really remember if my Tornadus is at the point in the game where it can tank a hit and then kill and punish. So I'm opting between going for Dragonite and start Dragon Dancing, or going straight into Slowking because I still have my multi-scale and rocks are not up, or going into Slowking and tanking a hit, setting up Trick Room. But I do figure that Dragonite is the best switch in here just because of multi-scale and the fact that I can come in and take less damage, I believe. Or am I crazy? Nah, I do go Dragonite here. So Puff comes out. Shiny Puff and Master Ball, you already know. We that boy. We that guy. So here is where I'm thinking. I got my multi-scale. After I've EV'd my D-Knight to after 1 DD, be faster than him. So we can kind of... I am contemplating going for Brick Break too, but it does like 20% or something like that. 20 to 30% or something like that. So do tank a Heavy Slam there. And I start a Dragon Dance. And this is where I have to contemplate between... Does he have Ice Fang? I do believe that if he had Ice Fang, he would click it already. Does he have Close Combat? Does he predict me to Terra Normal, or does he predict me to Stay and Ice Fang? That's kind of like the ones I'm looking at right now. And I do believe he Heavy Slam there because there's a possibility I change. There's a possibility I stay. So going Ice Fang and going Close Combat is kind of like a 50-50 scenario there. But I am +1/+1, so I am faster than this right now. But now I have to decide, do I want to Terra and Brick Break, or do I want to go for a regular Brick Break, or do I want to go for a Dragon Dance? I do opt for Terra Brick Break to predict an Ice Fang coming in here, and I don't think he would fighting move on the potential fact that I showed that I don't Terra with multi-scale there. It is very much so a 50-50 in this scenario, but we do get the Brick Break damage off first, which does about 40%, something like that. Heavy Slam goes off. Obviously, I don't have Roost, so we're relying on leftovers for recovery this time. We don't have Heavy Duty Boots either, which is why it was important to spin the rocks away. And I'm just going to go pretty much for the damage here. If I start to Dragon Dance anymore, or do I Dragon Dance? I think I realize it's better to just go for Brick Break and damage while I have this up and am faster. And if D-Knight drops, it's whatever. Just because I need this thing to be chipped. So that's kind of interesting. We go for Brick Break, and it just straight up kills. And I'm like, it kills? Oh, it's a critical hit. That's so unfortunate. I'm so sorry, Jade. And Jade sends me a message there as well, saying that mattered. It 100% did. He told me after the fight too that Zamazenta was rest, so it could heal itself and kind of beat Dragonite 1v1 unless he rolled some really bad moves on the rest. So that's mighty unfortunate. I am really sorry about that crit, because now Dragonite is +1/+1 and can really... It got past its biggest obstacle by itself, and it's also staring down the rest of his team with a +1/+1. He goes Kamala. Recognizes that there's a spike up on my field. Kamala does take that chip damage. And I am contemplating... I'm wondering why Kamala comes in. I'm thinking, is it Chilanberry? Is it whatever? I don't know. And then I kind of remember that Kamala came in last time because it had Yawn, right? It yawned me, right? And that's... hard to predict that to be the counterplay for Dragonite, which is why I am going to go for a... Extreme Speed! I'm just kidding. We just Extreme Speed this thing in the face. Now I'm going to set up a sub predicting Yawn to come out, because he showed me Yawn earlier, and I doubt this has anything else for me. I do hard predict it to be Yawn. Shows Yawn, hits the sub, which now obviously I gain leftovers. I do take damage from setting up the sub, but we're in a fantastic position because of that Brick Break crit, and I am really sorry to Jade for that. But now we can just basically get another Dragon Nest for free now that we've confirmed that Yawn is the counterplay he has. I set up my speed, so even if he wants to Rapid Spin to get faster, I am still having a speed domination there, just because, yeah, it does opt for a Rapid Spin, which is going to be more genius than you think, okay? Because now my Dragonite is +2/+2. He Rapid Spin aways the spike, so that fully defensive Florges, actually, I need to be like, what is it, +3 or +4 to one-shot it or something like that. So, yeah. Basically, that's the plot point there. I am behind the sub. He does have managed to remove the spikes. But as long as that sub stays up, I think I'm just going to go for Dragon Dances, man. Because I don't think I have a chance to get up another sub. And once the sub pops, I think I'm just going to go for broke, pretty much. Is like the main idea. I do see how many Dragon Dances I have up. I'm 2. I need 3, I think. So I'm going for another Dragon Dance. I think max defensive Florges, if it has a spike up, +3 has a good chance to kill. If it doesn't no spike up, then it has a very poor chance to kill. I think it's like 6%. So that's definitely something that I want to be prepared for. U-turns to break my sub and go into something that can handle it. Really not a bad play at all by Jade's part for having this position from an unfortunate crit. I really give my props to Jade for not giving up and fighting back here. It really is scary looking at this big diamond in the face and having luck, the Lady Luck, dismiss and abandon you in the middle of a really big battle. Like, it's a semifinals, right? It's played hard, fought hard to get here, both of us, and we've played fantastic through the season, and it just sucks that, you know, that Hacks kind of has such a big impact, even though it does have that low chance of happening. But the game is not completely over yet, although I am going to admit this looks pretty bad for Jade. So he's going to send out Florges, which I talked about, remove the spike through the use of Rapid Spin, and U-turn to get back. With that leftovers right there that you saw, I am taken out of Moonblast range. If it's max HP, max defense, no special attack investment whatsoever, Moonblast does like 169 max, I think. It's some 160 max, and I was at 167. So there was a chance for Moonblast to kill me there, and I realized that if I extreme speed this right now, it's not going to die. So I'd rather Dragon Dance again, tank the Moonblast at 1 HP, and then just go for broke, because then nothing lives. I'm +4 right now, and it shows Trick. So I was thinking, does it trick a Flame Orb? Does it trick Sticky Barb? Does it trick Toxic Orb? It tricks Choice Scarf. So I thought for a half a second here, I was locked into Dragonite's and thought I choked it hard. But since I used the move before Trick, that means that I'm not locked in. So I still have a move that I can lock myself into here. And I'm kind of also chatting with people, like chatting with Jade on Discord as this is happening. We're chatting a little bit back and forth. +4/+4 is going to be enough to take fully defensive Forges out. And I am locked into using Extreme Speed for the rest of the game. But his 1 resist to normal does not have a Ghost type on his team. His 1 resist to normal that he brought has been killed by Brick Break. So unless there's any Chillon Berries lurking, this absolutely cleans house. And even if there is Chillon Berries, I still think it cleans house, depending on who we're talking about. So this is a fantastic position for me. Puff the Dragonite and Shiny Armor from the first video I did about this draft shows why you don't mess around with this, man. It really is super, super strong. Look at that damage. Bye-bye, Kamala. I do take damage from Rocky Helmet, so if he did Moonblast me earlier, I would have killed myself in Rocky by hitting the Rocky Helmet there. So there was a way for him to save it, but then again, I do have 4 team members in the back aside from this thing that are full health, no rocks up, and he has a damaged Mew. So there was definitely more play here for him. There was definitely, the game was not over, but as of this moment right here, as you can see, we're just doing a kind of victory lap. We're just doing our final hurrahs, closing this game up. There's nothing that can stop me here. Puff Extreme Speed kills everything, if not twice over. So that's basically it, man. That's the semifinals of the TAO Season 10 Wi-Fi, man. I know I'm calling it early, but I know even if Moth is booster with speed, look at that shiny. Amazing, amazing. But unfortunately, just barely comes up short to a +4/+4 D-Knight, man. It's so unlucky because I do think that Zamazenta would have been in a great position to handle my team if it wasn't for the crit brick break. But you know it happens. It's the game we play. And yeah, I think Jade is a fantastic battler. I love the dude as a person. He's really nice and chill. We've talked in a voice chat. And he's also incredibly genius when it comes to what he wants to bring to battles and his mind in both playing and prepping. So huge shout out to Jade, man. I really think that it was unfortunate the way this time it turned around. We had a much closer game in the first game of the season versus each other. I wish I recorded that instead of this almost all, just because this feels unfair. I don't feel like I earned this, but at the same time, we are going to take it, obviously. I've been hacked in semis. I've been hacked in finals. I know exactly how it is. It kind of puts a damper on the day, not going to lie. But that is going to be the win versus Jade in the semifinals. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know down below. And yeah, I hope you guys are cheering for me for finals, man. The other half of the semifinals pool are going to be Zombie versus Zane. And the winner of that is going to face, yeah boy, yours truly in the finals. So if you're looking forward to that, please drop a sub so you get notified by my finals video when that comes out. Probably sometime next week. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been your boy Soulblaze. And as always, take care of yourselves, man. And take care of your families, man. And then I'll catch you guys on the flip. So thank you. Bye.